Ever wonder why your favorite coffee shop is suddenly packed? Or why finding a decent apartment feels like winning the lottery? Well, buckle up, because Canada's cities are going through a massive change, and we're about to show you why. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 Canadian cities that are bursting at the seams. From coast to coast, these urban hotspots are dealing with more than just a few extra neighbors. We're talking about a full-blown population explosion that's changing everything from housing prices to the local Tim Hortons line. 10. London, Ontario, the forest city's growing pains. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another eye-opening episode. Today, we're talking about London, Ontario, and no, not the one with Big Ben. This forest city is growing some serious roots, and it's changing faster than you can say maple syrup. Remember when London was that quiet little city where you could snag a decent place without emptying your wallet? Well, those days are gone. It's like someone hit the fast-forward button on the city's growth. People are pouring in from all over the place. We're not just talking about college kids looking for a good time. Nope, we're seeing families from every corner of the globe setting up shop in London. And let me tell you, it's changing things up big time. That sweet little apartment you could once get for pocket change? Forget about it. The average rent for a two-bedroom pad has shot up to $1,500. That's $100 more than just 5 years ago. Talk about a housing headache. And the healthcare situation? Oh boy. Need to see a doctor? Better pack a lunch, because you might be waiting a while. Some folks are reporting emergency room waits of up to 10 hours. That's like watching the extended editions of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies back-to-back. The schools aren't faring much better. Last year alone, over 2,500 new immigrant students joined the ranks. Classrooms are packed tighter than a can of sardines, and some schools are even bringing in portable classrooms. It's like a game of Tetris, but with kids instead of blocks. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. All these new faces are bringing some seriously tasty perks to the table. Literally. London's food scene is getting a major upgrade. You can take your taste buds on a world tour without ever leaving the city limits. If London's growth left you stunned, wait until you see how other cities are coping with similar surges. 9. Montreal, Quebec, the Bilingual Balancing Act. Alright, folks, let's head to Montreal, where the language situation is as mixed as their famous poutine. This city's always been a blend of English and French, but now it's like someone tossed in flavors from all over the world. In 2023, Montreal welcomed over 60,000 newcomers. That's like adding a small town to the city every year. All these new faces are putting some serious pressure on Montreal's infrastructure. The metro's getting packed, and housing prices are through the roof. Remember when you could rent a decent one-bedroom for about $1,200? Now you're looking at $1,800 for the same place. That's a 50% jump in just a few years. These changes are hitting Montrealers hard in their wallets and daily lives. The healthcare system is feeling the squeeze too. Waiting times at clinics and hospitals are getting longer than the line at a popular poutine joint on a Friday night. Some folks are waiting months just to see a specialist. Not exactly the quick and easy healthcare Canada's known for, right? Now, let's talk about the schools. They're dealing with kids speaking everything from Mandarin to Arabic. It's great for diversity, but it's giving teachers a real headache. They're scrambling to find resources for bilingual education and keep class sizes under control. But it's not all doom and gloom in Montreal. The food scene is absolutely exploding. You can take your taste buds on a world tour without ever leaving the city. Authentic dim sum for lunch and Venezuelan arepas for dinner? No problem. The city's artistic community is getting in on the action too, with festivals and events that are mashing up cultural traditions in ways that'll make your head spin. 8. Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, Silicon Valley North's growing pains. Alright, folks, let's talk about Kitchener-Waterloo. Remember when this place was all about beer and books? Well, hold on to your lederhosen because things have changed faster than you can say Silicon Valley North. In 2023, Kitchener-Waterloo rolled out the welcome mat for over 20,000 new immigrants. That's a whole lot of new faces in town, bringing their tech skills and entrepreneurial spirit to this booming hub. But here's the thing, all this growth is giving Kitchener-Waterloo some serious growing pains. The average home price has shot up to over $700,000, and a two-bedroom apartment will set you back about $2,200 a month. Longtime residents are feeling the squeeze, wondering if they'll need to win the lottery just to keep a roof over their heads. The healthcare system is struggling to keep up too. Waiting rooms are packed, with people lining up for hours just to see a doctor. Hospitals and clinics are trying to recruit staff faster than you can say stat, but it's a tough battle. But it's not all doom and gloom in KW. The influx of tech workers and immigrants is shaking things up in some pretty cool ways. The food scene is exploding with flavors from around the world. You can grab some authentic Indian curry for lunch and wash it down with a traditional German beer for dinner. It's like taking your taste buds on a world tour without ever leaving the city limits. Now, let's talk about jobs. The tech boom is creating opportunities left and right, but it's also ramping up the competition. New immigrants are bringing skills that are hotter than a fresh out of the oven pretzel, and some longtime locals are feeling left out of the party. It's like watching your quiet hometown suddenly become the coolest kid in school, exciting, but a little overwhelming too. As we move on to our next city, we'll see how other places are tackling similar challenges. Can they find the secret sauce to balance innovation and growth without leaving anyone behind? Stay tuned to find out. 7. Ottawa, Ontario, the capital's crowded corridors. Alright folks, let's talk about Ottawa. Our nation's capital is getting a serious makeover, and it's not just about politicians and tulips anymore. Ottawa welcomed over 35,000 immigrants last year alone. That's like adding a whole small town to the city in just 12 months. Can you imagine the chaos? It's like someone decided to throw the world's biggest house party and forgot to add an extension to the house first. Finding a place to live in Ottawa? It's tougher than trying to get a straight answer out of a politician during question period. The cost of living has skyrocketed, with average rents hitting $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment. That's more expensive than Calgary or Edmonton. Many locals are feeling priced out of neighborhoods they once called home. And getting around? The LRT, which was supposed to make things easier, is now more packed than the Rideau Canal on a perfect skating day. The public transportation system is struggling to keep up with all these new Ottawans. Packed trains and delayed services are becoming as common as maple syrup on pancakes. The hospitals aren't faring much better. Emergency rooms are so overwhelmed, you might start thinking about treating that broken arm yourself. People are waiting hours for care, and nobody likes spending their day in a waiting room when they're not feeling great. But it's not all doom and gloom in the capital. The food scene is exploding faster than a questionable science experiment. You can now get authentic pho right next to your beaver tails. It's like taking a culinary trip around the world without ever leaving the city. Schools in Ottawa are becoming more diverse than a box of Timbits. Last year alone, over 5,000 new immigrant students entered the school system. It's pretty cool to see kids from all over the world becoming friends, even if it means classrooms are getting a bit cozy. The city's changing fast, and it's bringing both challenges and opportunities. 6. Hamilton, Ontario, the Hammer's heavy hit. Hey folks, let's talk about Hamilton, Ontario. Remember when the Hammer was all about steel mills and football? Well, those days are fading faster than the paint on an old factory wall. The city's getting a serious makeover, and it's like someone hit the populate button and forgot to turn it off. In the last year alone, Hamilton welcomed nearly 25,000 immigrants. That's a whole lot of new faces, and it's putting some serious pressure on the city. About 25% of Hamilton's population is now foreign-born. It's like Hamilton traded in its maple syrup for a global flavor palette. Let's talk housing. Prices are climbing faster than a Hamiltonian up the Niagara Escarpment. Rental prices shot up by 20% in just 1 year. Want a one-bedroom apartment? That'll be $1,800, please. Suddenly, living in Hamilton isn't much cheaper than bunking down in Toronto's outskirts. And the traffic? The streets weren't built for all these new folks. Driving down Main Street feels like you're in a real-life game of Tetris. Buses are packed tighter than a Tim Hortons on Free Donut Day. Hospitals are feeling the squeeze too. The wait times are longer than the line for a Tiger Cats playoff game. You might want to pack a sleeping bag if you're heading to the ER. And good luck finding a family doctor, they're becoming as rare as a quiet day at Niagara Falls. Schools are bursting at the seams. Last year, over 4,000 immigrant children entered the school system. Classrooms are getting more packed than a stuffed Pikachu, but they're also becoming more colorful than the autumn leaves in Gage Park. But here's the kicker, all these newcomers are bringing some serious flavor to the hammer. The restaurant scene is exploding. You can take a culinary world tour without ever leaving the city limits. It's like someone turned Hamilton into a giant food court, and I'm not complaining. 5. Winnipeg, Manitoba, the Prairie Phoenix rising. Hey folks, let's talk about Winnipeg, Manitoba. You know, that city in the prairies that's usually associated with freezing winters and mosquitoes the size of small birds? Well, hold on to your toques because Winnipeg's got a whole new vibe going on. Last year, over 20,000 immigrants decided to call Winnipeg home. That's like adding a small town to the city overnight. It's not just the population that's growing, the city's whole identity is getting a makeover. Finding a place to live in Winnipeg? It's becoming tougher than surviving a Manitoba winter without a parka. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has shot up to $1,300. That's a 15% increase from last year. Locals are scratching their heads, wondering if they accidentally moved to Vancouver without noticing. Getting around town is turning into a real adventure. Winnipeg Transit is struggling to keep up, with buses packed like a can of sardines on a freezing day. Delays are becoming more common than potholes in spring. And don't even get me started on the hospitals. The emergency rooms are starting to look like the lineup for the last pierogies at Folklorama. Wait times are getting longer and finding a family doctor? Well, good luck with that. It's like playing a citywide game of hide and seek. But it's not all doom and gloom in the Peg. The job market's heating up faster than a backyard barbecue in July. Sure, it's getting more competitive, especially for entry-level jobs, but hey, more opportunities, right? Now, let's talk about the schools. They're bursting at the seams, especially in areas with lots of new immigrants. It's like a mini United Nations in there. Teachers are probably brushing up on their language skills faster than you can say social studies. But you know what? This city's grit is fueling its rebirth. Winnipeg's resilience is shining through, turning challenges into a cultural renaissance that's as vibrant as a prairie sunset. 4. Edmonton, Alberta, Oil City's new blend. Hey there, folks. Let's take a trip up north to Edmonton, Alberta. You might think the city's all about hockey and black gold, but hold on to your toques because things are changing faster than a prairie thunderstorm. Edmonton's not just growing, it's exploding. Last year alone, over 40,000 newcomers decided to call this place home. That's like adding a whole new town to the city in just 12 months. It's no wonder the locals are feeling a bit dizzy with all this change. Now, finding a place to live in Edmonton? It's becoming tougher than surviving a winter without a good parka. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has shot up to $1,350. That's a pretty penny, especially when you consider how much cheaper it was just a few years back. Looks like the housing market's heating up faster than the city's famous summer festivals. And don't even get me started on getting around town. The buses and LRTs are so packed during rush hour, you'd think there was a 2-for-1 sale on Tim Hortons coffee. Standing room only has become the new normal. It's like everyone decided to hit the road at the same time every single day. Need to see a doctor? Well, you better pack a lunch or maybe dinner too. Emergency rooms are seeing wait times between 6 to 8 hours. That's longer than it takes to drive to Calgary. Seems like the healthcare system is feeling the squeeze just as much as the rest of the city. But it's not all doom and gloom, folks. All these newcomers are stirring up Edmonton's cultural pot, and boy, does it smell good. The food scene is getting more diverse than the Oilers lineup. You can take your taste buds on a world tour without ever leaving the city limits. As for the schools, they're bursting at the seams with over 8,000 immigrant children joining last year alone. It's like a mini United Nations in there. Teachers are probably brushing up on their language skills faster than you can say social studies. 3. Calgary, Alberta, Cowtown's cosmopolitan clash. Alright, folks, let's mosey on down to Calgary, Alberta. Remember when the city was all about oil, cowboys, and a stampede? Well, hold on to your hats, because Cowtown's getting a serious makeover. Calgary's population is booming faster than a prairie wildfire. Nearly a third of the city's residents are from other countries. That's right, 30% of Calgarians are foreign-born. It's not just a melting pot anymore, it's a full-on international stew. Finding a place to live in Calgary? Tougher than lasting 8 seconds on a bucking bronco. Rental prices and home costs have skyrocketed, leaving many longing for the simpler days of Cowtown charm. You're looking at about $1,500 for a one-bedroom apartment now, and homes that used to be affordable are priced higher than a barrel of oil in the good old days. Getting around town is becoming a real rodeo, too. The roads are more crowded than the Saddledome during a playoff game. Those buses and C-trains? Packed tighter than a cowboy's jeans on a hot day. Hospitals are feeling the squeeze as well. Emergency rooms are starting to look like the lineup for the Stampede pancake breakfast. Wait times are longer than ever, and folks are getting more frustrated than a bull in a china shop. But it's not all bad news, partner. The food scene in Calgary is more diverse than the animals at the Calgary Zoo. You can get authentic international cuisine right next to your Alberta beef. It's like taking a world tour without leaving the city limits. Schools are bursting at the seams, with over 10,000 new immigrant students joining last year alone. That's more kids than you'd find at a Justin Bieber concert. These classrooms are becoming more colorful than the floats in the Stampede Parade, opening up unexpected opportunities for community growth and cultural exchange. 2. Vancouver, British Columbia, the Pacific pressure cooker. Hey there, folks. Ready to explore the next stop on our Canadian city tour? Well, get ready because we're headed to Vancouver, British Columbia. This city's like a beautiful pressure cooker, simmering with stunning views and urban challenges. Vancouver's become the cool kid everyone wants to hang out with. Nearly half the people you'll see on the streets weren't born in Canada. That's right, 45% of Vancouverites are from somewhere else. It's like the world decided to have a big meetup on the Pacific coast. All these newcomers are spicing up the city. The food scene is so diverse, you could eat your way around the globe without leaving downtown. But all this popularity comes at a cost, and I'm not just talking about menu prices. Finding a place to live in Vancouver? Good luck with that. It's tougher than spotting a Sasquatch in Stanley Park. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is over $2,500. That's more than you'd pay for a small castle in some parts of the country. And buying a place? Forget about it unless you've got a tech startup that just hit the jackpot. Getting around town is becoming a real adventure too. The Skitran and buses are packed tighter than a can of sardines. And the roads? Rush hour traffic moves slower than molasses in January. Here's the real kicker, Vancouver's geography is like a beautiful trap. Mountains on one side, ocean on the other, and the US border down south. There's nowhere to expand. It's a prized gem trapped in a glass case, dazzling yet constrained by its surroundings. All this pressure is squeezing the city's services. Healthcare's feeling it big time. Emergency room wait times can stretch to 8 hours. That's practically a full workday. And the schools? They're bursting at the seams. Last year alone, over 12,000 new students joined Vancouver's school system. 1. Toronto, Ontario, the big smoke's big squeeze. Alright, folks, let's talk about Toronto, the city that's growing faster than a Leafs fan's disappointment during playoff season. Canada's largest city isn't just about the CN Tower and Drake anymore, it's become a global hotspot. Here's the deal, Toronto's gone full-on international. Over half the people living there weren't even born in Canada. That's right, more than 50% of Torontonians are from somewhere else. It's like the United Nations decided to have a block party and everyone showed up. Now, living in Toronto? That's a whole other story. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has skyrocketed to $2,600. You'd have better luck finding a Leaf Stanley Cup win than an affordable place to crash. And getting around town? Forget about it. The public transit is a nightmare. Buses, streetcars, and subways are packed tighter than a can of maple syrup. Your morning commute turns into a game of human Tetris, except nobody wins. Need to see a doctor? Hope you've got a good book, because you'll be waiting longer than it takes to binge-watch an entire season of Schitt's Creek. Emergency rooms are seeing wait times of over 12 hours. But here's the thing, all these newcomers are bringing some serious flavor to the city. Toronto's food scene is exploding with tastes from around the world. You can take a culinary world tour without ever leaving the city limits. It's like someone took the Epcot World Showcase and dropped it right in the middle of Ontario. And the schools? They're feeling the heat too. Last year alone, over 15,000 new immigrant students joined Toronto's school system. Classrooms are more crowded than at Tim Hortons during the morning coffee rush. But hey, at least the kids are getting a crash course in world cultures along with their math and science. Toronto might be bursting at the seams, but it's turning into one heck of a melting pot. Conclusion. Alright folks, we've reached the end of our whirlwind tour through Canada's changing cities. These urban centers are transforming rapidly, reshaping Canada's identity. Nearly half the population in cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal are now immigrants. This brings challenges like packed schools and sky-high housing prices, but also exciting opportunities with new ideas and cultures. Next time you're strolling through one of these cities, take a good look around. That busy street corner might just be where Canada's future is taking shape. It's a complex journey with both hurdles and rewards. You're witnessing history in the making. Pretty wild, right?